Dear students, today we are going to discuss Samuel Johnson, our next writer. We are going to discuss simply the age of Johnson. Samuel Johnson is an esteemed English writer who became a prominent literary figure in England in the 18th century. Johnson is known for writing profound poetry, fiction, moralizing essays, and political pieces. Because we have to discuss Samuel Johnson in our course outline as a critic, as well as we have done with the Aristotle, and now we have to discuss Samuel Johnson. So first of all, we'll discuss some sort of biography and the little bit introduction of Samuel Johnson, and in the next lecture we'll discuss regarding our course outline the topics as it is being mentioned. So Samuel Johnson was born in Lichfield, England on September 18, 1709. Basically, it is the writer of 18th century, and it is claimed that Samuel Johnson grew up in poverty and that he and his family fought financial battles for the majority of Johnson's childhood and young adult life. As we were discussing the writing style of any writer, as I have mentioned that when we are going to discuss the writing style and then the theme of a writer, the basic thing is biography of writer. When writer is going to write something regarding any topic, regarding any fiction, regarding any poetry, regarding novels, regarding dramas, his style of writing and his themes of writing is basically based on his biography. In other words, we can say that how the writer grew up and in which circumstances writers grew up. A writer directly, indirectly, automatically will depict the same thing as he has faced in his life, and he will write the same thing which he has faced in his circumstances. As we are going to discuss the poverty of Johnson, and you will see the major portion in this course outline, the poverty, and there is some sort of essays are also there on the same thing of Samuel Johnson, and he is saying that the whole family fought for poverty, and the economical situation of Samuel Johnson was not good. He grew up in very tough circumstances of life, and then he fought for it. So basically, Samuel Johnson grew up in very, you can say, weak financial situation. And the same is the case with his childhood and adulthood. Okay, at some extent we can say that the children was there, mother died, father died, and then he grew up, and a miracle happened, and he or she became very popular, became very rich, and he and or she was not facing the same situation as he or she was facing in the childhood. But in the case of Samuel Johnson, he was facing same situation in his childhood as well as adulthood. Situation was not being changed. Circumstances was same there. Johnson showed sign of early intelligence and began his education at the mere age of 3. Johnson excelled in school and was promoted to the upper school at the age of 9. He enrolled in school at the age of 3 and he promoted in the age of 9. In the age of 9, 6 years he used to be there in the school, and then he went for upper school. After the age of about 16, Johnson's father was deeply in debt. To earn money, Johnson began to stitch books for his father. Now, this is the thing that how we are going to discuss the basically very tough situation of Samuel Johnson, as well as he is going to depict in his writing style poverty. His father was also there, but he was in the age of 16. He was helping his father by stitching books And the same is the case with the father. Father was in debt. Okay. And it is premisable that Johnson spent much time in his father's bookshop reading and building his literary knowledge. Yes, that was the one point we can consider, that Samuel Johnson was very keen in reading, because he was working with father at the bookshop, and he used to read and write the books regularly, and he was developed some sort of critical thinking, critical mind, critical writing was there. Due to that circumstances, he built up a good writer, as we are seeing in this age, because it is being happened in 18th century, and now in 21st century there is no comparison of Samuel Johnson. The family remained in poverty until the cousin of Johnson's mother, Elizabeth Harrods, died in Feb 1728 and left enough money to send Johnson to college. Later in 1728, at the age of 19, Johnson entered Pembroke College, Oxford. A shortage of funds forced Johnson to leave Oxford without a degree and move back to home, Lichfield. Now, this is the main circumstances are being discussed here. He was being sent in Oxford, but due to shortage of funds, he was being sent to home without degree. He was enrolled in college, but he didn't get any sort of degree from there, and he sent back to his Lichfield, where he was born. Johnson attempted to obtain several jobs but failed. He hired because he did not have a degree. Now, you can basically, my concern in this lecture is to discuss the very keen aspect of Johnson, and you have to keep in your mind basically Johnson's all writing moves around that critical point that he faced in his life, that he was facing some sort of the thing which was poverty. And now you can see that he was going here and there in search of job, but no was there to serve his job because he was not having degree. Oxford did eventually award with him with the degree of Master of Arts. Johnson was also awarded on an honorary doctorate in 1765 by Trinity College by Dublin and in 1775 by Oxford. Johnson was known as a charitable, sensible, and caring man. This is the point now. When the suffering of lives was there, but he was a caring man. Just imagine. Basically that is the point. जब आपकी ज़िंदगी में इतनी परेशानियां हों, आपकी ज़िंदगी मुश्किलात का शिकार हो, शुरू से लेके आपके जवानी तक आपने गुर्बत देखी हो, आपने मसाइल देखे हो, आपने ईद के अलावा कभी नया जोड़ा ना लिया हो, कभी शूज़ ना लिए हो, और बट ऑन द अदर हैंड यू आर नॉट हैविंग चिड़चिड़ापन, यू आर वेरी हम्बल. Basically that is a greatness, because on the first hand you are suffering from many critical situation, but on the other hand you are very polite, and you are doing everything with very gentle attitude. He did not linger on complaints and appreciated the world around him. He was an honest man. He was an honest man. That is a quality of Johnson, and never thought twice about helping those in need. He took in strays from the outside, gave them a place to stay, and supported them throughout his adulthood. It is known that Johnson gave 2/3 of his income to charity and never turned down a man or woman in need of help. Yes, वो अपनी जो कमाई कर रहा था उसका ज़्यादातर हिस्सा किस में दे रहा था? चैरिटी में. नाउ यू मे जस्ट इमेजिन कि एक बंदा, उसकी सफरिंग खुद की इतनी थी, एंड नाउ ही इज़ वेरी मच मैच्योर एंड ही नोज दैट हाउ the basically that specific quote is being shifted here, that only the wearer knows where the shoe pinches. Basically that is the thing, and he is helping others because he knows the suffering, and he is going to donate something for the society. One of Johnson's most famous work is a dictionary of English language. That is a very famous work of Samuel Johnson, Dictionary of English Language. There was a dissatisfaction with the dictionaries of the period. So in June 1746, a group of London booksellers hired Johnson to write a dictionary. Johnson took nearly 9 years to complete the work. 9 years. He took 9 years. That is a objective type question is there. Although he had claimed to finish it in the three, and he claimed to finish it in the 3 years. Remarkably, Johnson completed the work single-handedly with only clerical assistance to copy out illustrative quotations that he had marked in books. Johnson produced several revised editions during his life. Until the completion of Oxford English Dictionary 173 years later, Johnson was viewed as the primary English dictionary. According to Walter Jackson Bate, the dictionary easily ranks one of the greatest single achievement of scholarship and probably the greatest ever performed by one individual who labored under anything like the disadvantages in a comparable length of time. Yes, the most successful of Johnson's minor works and the worth noticing is Russell's. Johnson wrote Russell's during a time when he desperately needed extra money. Johnson knew that in order to get his hand on the money he would need to write another composition. Therefore, Russell's came to be. It is the story of a young prince who sets off to see the world only to uncover the harsh reality that the world is all vanity. This work can link to his other work, The Vanity of Human Wishes, in which the vanity is a major theme. That's all.